Good evening. This is Robert Pulse. Bear with me a second while I set this up. How's your evening going? Okay. You should be seeing my playlist in YouTube. This is part of the game of professional life. It's a little different than genealogy. This is advice that I give to my grandchildren, and that's what this is focused on. That might have some value to other folks. Um, like I said, this is for my family. Disclaimer: I'm neither professional nor an expert financial manager. All views expressed are mine, and based on my experiences, this advice is for my grandchildren only. The process of the game of professional life is first to choose how you want to live. There is a video on it. It's the TGoPL01, and then develop a budget for the lifestyle. That's in '03. And then explore what you want to do. That's career, and that's what we're talking about today. And compare the budget to the career income and make adjustments. We're going to do a little bit of that today too. Okay. And the focus is a request to take a look at reporter as a career. And I'll be using the Occupational Handbook. The job outlook for that particular position is a -3%. That means it's declining. And it's very concerning because the job, he's going to have a difficult time holding on to this job once you get it because there's going to be demand out there for this job. Lots of people like journalism. The national average is a +4, so that's about 7% difference. So that's going to be difficult to overcome. The median pay is going to be, and can be done. I mean, you can overcome it. The median pay is going to be around $60,280, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. And the typical entry level is a bachelor's degree. Okay, so let's go look at it. Okay. Hey, when you come to the Occupational Outlook Handbook, this is what you see, and it's got all types of jobs that you can do. What you do is you go up here and you put in reporter. Okay. Let's do a capital reporter and go. And it comes up with news analysts, reporters, and journalists. And that's what you want. Okay. This is a summary. And here's your median pay. This is where I got it. Here's the entry level. Here's the decline. Here's a summary of the pages, but we're going to go through each one of them. So this will be in the attachment to this video, and you'll be able to take and go to this and do it yourself for any profession, not just this one, any career. Okay. What they do, there's quite a bit of things. You are wanting to do travel as part of this, and that's correspondence is down here. It's foreign correspondence for the most part, but it looks like the foreign correspondent part is most specifically live in one country, and you're expected to have a network there. So it's more or less for people that already live in that country that want to become reporters from that country. Work environment. Here's a little bit about the work environment. Illness, injury. If you take on a job that's going to be in an area that's troubled, you might be dodging bullets and stuff like that. So this is very interesting because it shows who employs the people in the environment. How to become one. This is news analysis. Reporters generally need a bachelor's degree. Here's the types of degrees that you need. And here's other experience. This is very key. Internships and work on the school newspaper, radio stations, or TV stations. A lot of high schools and colleges have radio stations and TV stations for their journalism students. I've encountered that because I had to repair them. So I know that they exist in many of the colleges and universities, and they do local news, which is a big gap in the communication systems today. So that might be an opportunity. Pay. This pay was based on based on 2024. So that was May 24th of 2024. So keep in mind that it may have gone up or may have gone down. So that's worthwhile looking at. Job Outlook, which I was concerned about. This is minus 3%, where the national overall jobs is a plus 4%. Media and communications workers, so there might be something in media and communications that you might be interested in. That's 3%. Okay. State and area data, this doesn't have much in it. On this occasion, you can download specific information, but you're not interested in living in one state. You're interested in international travel. Similar occupations. This is atmospheric scientist. That's meteorologist. Broadcast sound videos, editors, film and video editors, photographers. And you can see what their salaries are over here. Public relations and fundraising managers. Now, the public relations and public relations specialist. This is what I was talking to you about in marketing, was something of that area. Okay, and then more information. When you get in college, you might want to consider joining one of these organizations, especially the Society of Professional Journalists, if you choose to pursue this program. Okay. Okay, so let's see what's next. Part of the process is to take and compare the budget to the career income. Well, the budget that was done many years ago, 3 years ago, said that for that particular time, 53,091 was achievable for a living and lifestyle. But that was in the United States, and that was a very specific budget for one of your other cousins. Okay, and so you might need to take and revise that extensively. The projected income is 60,280, so that exceeds this number. So that you don't have to take and worry too much about being able to take and live on that budget in here, except that budget doesn't apply to you, and you need to take the same items that are in that budget and see how they will affect your plans. Like I said, it's based on 2024 numbers. We're in 2025, and it could be 2026. Well, it'll be 30 before you do this. So, there's no assurance that you'll achieve this goal of international travel that you have. It appears that the foreign correspondents live in that area. So I didn't see any special thing where people are reporters are going around and doing the type of stuff that you told me you want to do. This is the notes that I took from what they do. They're international events. Foreign correspondents live in another country. They're not just dropping in there and looking around. They're living there. The work environment, they spend a lot of time in the field. That implies that they know a lot of people in the area they're in. So, and that implies that you're going to be there for a while. And then how to become employers prefer people that have gone through internships, newspapers, while attending college. And I showed you that when we were there. One of the things you might do is define travel. What do you mean by travel? Is it short business trips like I used to make to Japan and to Israel and other places like that, Canada, like your other grand cousin is doing? Living abroad for extended periods of time or something else? So think about what travel means and try and write it down next time we get together. Tell me about it. Language skills, as I recall, you're studying Spanish, so that's a good start. You might look at Spanish countries. Many international roles require proficiency in foreign languages, and that's a huge asset. So there's a lot of Spanish countries out there, and a lot of things going on in Spanish countries. Cultural competency. This is the biggie. You need to be able to adapt to different cultures. I had to do this with Japanese and Israeli and Canadian, French Canadian especially, was a real challenge. Ability to understand diverse perspectives. You have been brought up in the United States, and many Americans feel like this is the best place in the world to live and are astounded when they go to another country and find out the people there feel the same thing about their country. It's the best place to live. That's just one of the perspectives that they'll have that's different. A lot of things that we take for granted in the United States. I just became aware of one the other day is that the customer is always right in our businesses over here. Well, in Europe, for instance, that's not true. The business owner is always right. So that's a whole different perspective when you have a conflict. Okay, you need the ability to communicate effectively. Now, this is more than just language. This is understanding what the other person under, views when you say something. Very difficult sometimes. It goes up to this perspective. They have a different perspective. How can you communicate to them? That's a lot of work to take and get to that. Uh, I've done it, and I think you can do it, but don't minimize it. Okay. Beyond the occupational handbook, things that might offer travel. Foreign service officer. You could work for the federal government in an embassy overseas. That could be a possibility. Those people are go around from embassy to embassy. The requirements again are language and being able to understand the culture. You might explore international volunteer opportunities, and then you might look at it exchange programs, and you have a fresh example of exchange programs right there. So you can take and look at that, and that would give you some experience. That experience would make a good resume when you're looking for a job. Okay, the playlist I have. Here's the playlist, my general playlist. Here's the Game of Professional Life playlist. And this is for people other than my grandchildren. If you want to take and give me a thumbs up or give me comments on what I've said, I'd appreciate it. Always interested in what's going on out there. All righty. You all have a great evening.